Starcast, the official podcast of the Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the latest news from the Big Red Machine.
Hello and a very warm welcome back to Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars, the still undefeated in this season Billingham Stars. I can say that for another week or two. Yeah, I'm going to keep going that. Yes. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Been a couple of weeks since our last edition. We've got a few things to talk about. Delighted to be joined by Carol and by Jono as usual. Evening both. How's things?
Yeah, very good.
Apart from no hockey for us yet.
I was okay until I saw those titles, Craig. I think we might be having words off air.
Okay. Photos can be changed. That's not a problem. That's not new. It's been on for the last episode as well. Never mind. So we're back to talk about all things Billingham Stars. As I said, no league games yet for the Stars. Don't kick off until the 21st. Of September at Leeds, but there was some NIHL NIHL North Division 1 action this past weekend. We can talk about that. We can briefly recap on the pre-season series with the Whitley Warriors and a look ahead to what's coming up around the division this coming weekend and beyond. We'll start with the pre-season. So we had our last episode before the pre-season games. And we'll give Jono a pass because he was trophy lifting that weekend with Billingham Synthonia, so we'll give him a pass. But thoughts on the pre-season, Carol? A home win, a fairly comfortable home win on Saturday, and then a come from behind win on Sunday at Hillhead. So do the double over the Warriors and kind of break off the rust of the Stars as far as the pre-season goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pre-season to a certain extent. The results don't particularly matter, although it is a derby and we're not going to see too many of them for the foreseeable future. It's more about getting the legs going, testing new systems. Obviously, we've having to change things around a little bit for this season, so it's just a chance to try a few new things out. Obviously, it's great to get 2 wins, but I think it was more important just to get the lads back together, get them skating, get them in a game situation, test some new systems. Possibly don't test them to the point we did in the first period at Whitley Bay and stick ourselves in a 3-goal hole. But to be fair, that's an early test of character to come back from 3 goals down. In a rink like Hillhead's, no mean feat. So pleasing, but at the end of the day, what do we take out of it? We take out the fact that we've been able to get some mileage in those legs, and we were able to have a look at some new lines potentially. So yeah. Good workout.
Game ice is always better for the players than obviously we can talk about. You can train as long as you want, but game ice is completely different to training ice. So getting 2 games of 120 minutes of game ice is huge. Obviously, not ideal that we then have 3 blank weekends following that, but it's games in the legs, like you say. And guys getting off the mark as well, getting their scoring sticks up and running, doing what Billingham have done. We keep saying it for the last couple of seasons, scoring goals in bunches. We did it on Saturday in the first period, scored on 3 of the first 4 shots we had, I think. And then on Sunday, as I say, Whitley had the better of the first with a 3-goal lead, and then we kind of came back and scored in bunches again to take the lead and eventually see the win out. So kind of, in a way, picking up where we left off, scoring in bunches, scoring plenty of goals. And I know for a fact that from Coach Foster, he wouldn't have been happy with the defensive end, because that's the kind of, he loves scoring goals, but he loves not conceding goals better. But yeah, I say games in the legs, and 2 wins over the nearest and dearest, who we won't see now until Christmas. Jono, have you heard anything? Obviously, you weren't there, being a league champion and all, so you weren't at the pre-season series. But what you've seen in training and what you heard about the weekend games?
Yeah, I had a chance to speak to some of the lads, and yeah, I think it was the belief in the team is still extraordinary. It's still there from last year. They do think from any situation, 3 goals down or whatever it'll be, that they'll come back and win the games. But the most pleasing thing from my point of view was the full rosters at training on Wednesday and Thursday and the intensity of their training. Because it's dead easy just to put the feet up for the next 3 weeks and go, well, we don't start now. We might as well have a couple of weeks off. We could just go through the motions. It's horrible to say, but we are only starting with Leeds away and home, and we are a better team than them, and we can just ease our way into it. But believe you and me, those 2 training sessions, Wednesday and Thursday, were stacked and full of intensity, and that's probably the most pleasing thing from me after a weekend against the Warriors, which was a bit physical. From looking out from in, reading up, and looking at some of the incidents that happened, it could have been very easy for lads to take a bit of time off, but no, they're on it, they want it, and they're very much a unit as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good to say. We've of course talked about that in training. They've been training now for 3-4 weeks, and we said of like just between ourselves how fast and kind of skating they were, like you say, the intensity. But even when they've picked up the first couple of sessions back, they picked up the speed and the pace, and they've kind of obviously come back with a purpose, which is good to see. Pending that, to say that the lack of game action, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. We'll pick up the games like everybody else as the season goes on. In terms of the league as a whole, we had our first chance to see some teams in action this week. If folks didn't have a chance to read them, each team in the division was covered by our media team. It was there. The Stars website has a preview on each of the teams in our division. Well worth checking out. Great stuff from Carol, giving people the background. Obviously, we're not seeing teams ourselves yet, so we're having to kind of feel our way and rely on any highlights and clips and stuff that we can see. Carol, the previews obviously giving people a taste of what to expect over the next few months.
Yeah. Also, a lot of teams have had quite drastic changes in personnel, and I think we've tried to keep people up to date in bits over the summer with what's been happening at various teams. But unless you've been, really on it, it was quite easy to get lost with it all. So I thought it would be a bit more sensible just to summarise kind of the ins and outs for each team, and you'll see from them some teams are wholesale different from last year. So Widnes, for instance, wholesale different. To a certain extent, Blackburn, maybe not wholesale different, but in key positions different. Yeah. There are teams that we'll get a first look at in the coming weeks when we eventually get going, that won't play the same. They won't play the same game purely because they've had quite different approach to recruitment, and to a certain extent, I think we covered this on the last podcast. That means some teams will naturally take some time to gel. I think we've probably already seen a little bit of that this weekend. Yeah. There are teams out there that have just not had, they haven't had enough game time together to really start gelling properly. And how long that takes, who knows? But there are teams out there that are going to need some time to click. Or if you Widnes, you have a completely, a clear out and recruit a load more people and get a win at the weekend. So just proving that I know nothing. But there you go. It is what it is. We're going to come across some very different teams this season. And I just wanted to give people a flavour of that. I think if I'd done a preview of Billingham Stars, those ins and outs would have been noticeably less than other teams around us.
Yeah. No, I say point people to the Stars website to check all of those out and get yourself genned up before the real action begins in a couple of weeks' time. In terms of the action itself on the division, we did have some games at the weekend in NIHL 1 North, and they were all on Sunday. We'll go through the scores and Anything that kind of jumps out at folk, and obviously one result possibly in particular. Sheffield Scimitars in their new orange gear, christened it with a loss, unfortunately for them. Sheffield 3, Widnes 4 at Sheffield. Hull Jets 3, Nottingham Lions 4. Lions were 3-0 up in that one before Hull made it a close one in the third. And then the final game of the weekend, Blackburn Hawks 3, Leeds Knights 1. That was at the Blackburn Arena, which means league tables, such as they are, Blackburn, Nottingham, and Widnes have 3 points. Everybody else has nothing. Hull, Sheffield, and Leeds have negative goal difference because they're at the bottom because they've lost. But league tables don't really mean anything after one game. So, Carol, any thoughts on the first 3 games of the division?
I think a lot of people would have looked at Blackburn and Leeds and expected a somewhat different kind of result there. But I genuinely think that just goes back to what I was saying about teams needing a little bit of time just to start gelling. I'm quite sure that as time goes on, Blackburn will get better. 3-1. They're possibly a little disappointed with that, given it's their first home game of the season. We'll wait and see, but certainly I was expecting more from Blackburn. Let's say.
Yeah. The Hawks goals were Adam Barnes, Liam Charnock, and Jacob Lutwich, picking up kind of where they left off. Frankie O'Sullivan for Leeds, getting their sole marker. Anything picking up from you, Jonathan? Ooh.
Sunday name coming out. No, just what Carol there with it. I think on the whole, if Ollie and Dom had probably got a chat after that game, they probably would have been slightly disappointed with that result. Yes, it's a win, but I think it was a perfect opportunity to lay a marker, put a statement down, show the whole league what they're about this year. I think it was last year's early league form that probably cost them a title running. But we'll see. They should get better. They should start getting the results together. But I think it was probably an opportunity missed for the Hawks. But nonetheless, it's 3 points on the board and they're up and running.
Yeah. Just looking at the game stats, courtesy of NIHL Stats. Daniel Norton was the lead goalie. Conceded only 3 on 40 shots. Harrison Walker, not as busy at the other end, only had 26 shots on him, and obviously just the 1 goal against. So Blackburn obviously dominated that one. The other game was a bit of a surprise, perhaps. Nottingham taking the win in Hull. As we were saying before we started recording, Hull, pretty much like ourselves, seem to be pretty much unchanged from last season, or same as ourselves, maybe there's 1 or 2 people leaving. So, and as you were, Hull, but they were undone by Nottingham, who are 3-0 up after 35 minutes, before Hull scored twice late on, to kind of 2 power play goals, brought it back to a 2-goal game. And then Richard Hagger made it a 1-goal game, 3-4. Jack Croston, Toby Fisher, Jack Humphreys, and Alex Rushby kicking things off for the Lions. So a positive start for the Lions, Jono.
Yeah, and I think it's probably something you should always expect from a Matt Bradley side. He'll know, even for a first game of the season, over the last 3-4 weeks that these guys have been training, he'd have had them well drilled, and even probably spoke to them on the bus on the way up and in the room, just to having them ready for that first puck drop. It's wherever his teams are, home or away, he has them ready for that first puck drop, no matter when it is in the season. And I think it was probably very much the reason why they probably got a jump on Hull and probably shell-shocked Hull a little bit. And it was just too much for them to do come third period, even with the likes of Richard Hagger they've got in their lineup. A 3-goal chase in the third period, it's difficult for anybody, and they just fell short of that.
Yeah. And Widnes, Sheffield, last 2 teams, kind of bottom of the league teams from last year, getting things underway at Sheffield. So Sheffield with the new part of the setup there, the full pathway, change of colours that we've mentioned before. But Widnes, after a difficult season last year. They've made a good fist of it and getting underway. And I think early sight that, as pretty much as last year, the division is going to be a competitive one from top to bottom. Carol.
Yep. I'll just put on record, blue suits the Skims better. I don't like this. I know why, but Sheffield underneath the Steelers should be blue. I'm sorry. I don't like Steel Dogs wearing orange, for goodness sake. So, it bodes well, really, because what you really want is a competitive division. We've said it for ages. Your league is only as strong as your weakest team. So if your weakest team is putting up a battle every week, that's excellent for the rest of the league. Mm-hmm. Sheffield and Widnes both probably want to forget last season, so it's really important for them to get good starts. And from what I can gather, it could have gone either way on Sunday. Widnes will obviously come out of that one pretty pleased because they got the 3 points, and they were utterly dreadful at the start of last season. So for them to get a good start, it probably means quite a lot. But I don't think Sheffield will be too disappointed. They're another team that have had a lot of change going on. Just that little bit of time to get that telepathy going on each of the lines. I'm sure they'll be better than they were last year. So it does bode well for a really competitive league, and it's something to look forward to for everybody. Really, you don't want blowout games. It's not something that anybody wants to see. It's boring, quite frankly. So if you're looking forward to every game thinking, don't know which way this one's going to go, potential banana skins and all the rest of it, that's really exciting for the league. So let's hope that it continues with close scorelines that we saw in week 1.
Yeah. Completing the action, it's not on NIHL Stats because there were a pair of challenge games the weekend as well. Deeside and Telford had a home and home series. Yep. They seem to forget to take goalies with them by looks of it. On Saturday in Deeside, it finished 10-7 to Deeside. And on Sunday in Telford, it finished 10-7 to Telford.
Yeah.
So aggregate score 17 all over 2 legs. We can already start talking about Deeside and defense on day one, can't we?
This is the thing. We talked about them all last season, and you think, oh, look, they've recruited really well, and they've strengthened at the back, and then that happens.
I really, really, really wanted to tweet on Monday, and I thought, no, just leave it alone. Just let's get a few games in the season first. But just more of the same from Deeside. You thought with Tara Delabertouche and Ethan Mayo, and you thought, they've answered 2 of their huge problems, but seems Telford found those gaps again.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't had a proper look to see if any teams and scores, and so I don't know how full strength the teams were or otherwise. But 17 goals scored and conceded over a weekend's all-time hockey, shall we say? So we'll see what happens this coming weekend. There is a full program, pretty much this weekend. 7 games in total. Still no games for the Billingham Stars, who will still remain undefeated through Sunday the 14th of September. But anyway, the action will quickly go through the schedule for this weekend, and then we'll take a break and talk about some hockey that did happen at the Forum this past weekend. But for your NIHL North Division 1 on Saturday, it's Telford kick their league programme off against Widnes, and then Solihull welcome the Nottingham Lions to Hobbs Moat, before the Sheffield Scimitars and the Deeside Dragons finish off the programme on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, it's a return. Deeside and Sheffield swap venues to North Wales before Solihull play Widnes. So a double home weekend, including a Sunday and a Saturday home game for Solihull. Strange wonders will never cease. We have Solihull Widnes, Blackburn against Hull, and then the late one on Sunday in Leeds, Elland Road, Leeds Knights 2 versus the Nottingham Lions, a mix of league and cup. So the kind of the competition getting up and running in earnest. We'll continue to view it from afar. Anything on those fixtures before we take a break?
Yeah, I think it's a little early to start picking out games that are a standout. It will be interesting to see how Solihull are shaping up. They had a couple of pre-season games at the weekend against Chelmsford. One loss and one draw, I believe. So it'd be interesting to see how they come out from their home doubleheader.
Yeah.
Nice of them to give a Saturday game to someone who has to travel so far. Said with all the sarcasm I can muster.
Come on, the Chiefs.
Come on, the Chiefs. Yeah, sponsored by some podcast or other. I don't know. Never catch up. I completely lost what I was going to say then. No, it's gone. It must have been a lie. It's gone. No, Solihull. Yeah, Solihull have been, obviously, without taking what your preview says, Solihull are another quite a few changes, but they kind of did it not as loudly as other teams, perhaps. Would that be fair?
I think that'd be fair, and the quiet departure of Saki Okayama seems to have gone under the radar as well. So we'll just have to see how they're shaping up. Really, I'm not sure you can take pre-season is what it is. We'll have to see them in league action before we can take any kind of viewpoint on them.
Yeah. Well, we'll catch up on the goings on around the NIHL on the next edition of Starcast. But for now, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about some girls hockey, some Bucks hockey, and some supporters club news, and any other business as well. Stay with us. This is from your Billingham Town Council, Billingham Stars. This is Starcast. Welcome back to this edition of Starcast. And as you mentioned, there was, for all the Billingham Stars have not played, there was some hockey at the Forum this past weekend. And it was trailed on Star socials as well for the last couple of weeks, and quite an important one for the club as a whole. And we were there, Carol and I, with several hundred other people, for the first ever games of the Billingham under-16 girls team, which is the start of possibly a revival of women's hockey. Obviously, used to be a women's team at Billingham as well. So getting the girls team back is huge for the program. And it was an entertaining game, Carol, against Caledonia, and the girls just come up short in the end.
Oh, it was fantastic. They had, I think the best thing for me was looking at the smiles on their faces. They were so pleased to be skating out in front of a crowd. So thank you to everybody that turned up, because it really meant a lot to those girls. I mean, it was their first ever game, and clearly some of those girls they've been playing mixed hockey for some years, but there were quite a lot of new participants in that game as well. But you couldn't really tell that. The effort level was tremendous. Some of the skill on show was just phenomenal to watch, really, to say it's a new team. The smallest goalie, who did ever so well, Alicia, she was fantastic. And all in all, some fantastic skill on show, really. And to say they only came up short by a couple of goals, you can't ask for any more than that in your first game. That was phenomenal, and I hope the smiles continue, because they were beaming when they came off on Saturday, and that's really what you want at that level. You want the kids to be out there enjoying themselves. You don't want it to be a chore. You want them all to be, smiling, having fun, and trying hard. And that's all you can ask, and that's what they get. That's what they gave.
Yeah, Alicia in nets, obviously, she for those that don't know, so the under-16s, the age ranges are massive. So Alicia in goal is only 10. She's not 11 until December. And at the top end, we've got some girls, 14, 15-year-old, who are the kind of the top ages of the program. So there's a big mix in ages, obviously abilities, size, things like that. But there were some hellish nice goals both ways. It has to say as well. I think one of the Caledonia girls was her first game, and she's got a hat trick. So
Caledonia, it was really good to see Caledonia join in as well, because they were all beaming and smiling as well. And can we just say, that's a top name, Caledonia Iron Maidens. I love it.
Yeah. Obviously, the senior team's called the Steel Queens. So to kind of take that and turn it into Iron Maidens for the girls is fantastic. So well done to them. And one of their coaches won the hamper as well, so they had a good trip home.
They did.
But yeah, back Alyssa, I don't know if it's made its way to socials yet, but Alicia made a penalty shot save in the third as well to keep it close. So we came back and Nelly kind of forced a tight game in the end. So I think everybody, like you say, huge to get the program off the ground, getting the crowd in. Long may that continue, and hopefully a rejuvenation of women's hockey in Teesside, which is what we want.
Oh, 100%. It was just, like I say, just a really joyous occasion. Everybody was smiling, everybody was happy. The coaches looked happy. Makes a change. And it was lovely. And by the way, the penalty shot is on socials. I think it's a reply to the Stars post about the result. Somebody posted a video clip of Alicia saving the penalty shot.
Fab. So we'll have a search of that. Jono, obviously, you had more trophy laden Billingham Synthonia duties on Saturday, but looking with your kind of wide brush and looking at the club as a whole, to get women's hockey back and a new girls team is huge for Billingham as a hockey town in complete kind of setup, isn't it?
Believe it or not, I was stood in a field playing B-Dale away, top versus bottom. Our season's over, and you can ask Fee, hand on heart. All I was asking is what the scores were, what was going on, how were the girls doing. And she kept relaying back, and I just kept smiling, going, "What a great thing! What a great thing this is for the town." Especially for all those kids in the crowd as well, boys and girls, watching a 10-year-old netminder playing under 16 hockey for one, watching these girls play at their level instead of having to graft twice as hard at the boys level, because there is a massive difference, so they can show their skill set off at that level, is absolutely huge. And I just hope that they get the support, they get looked after, and I hope that these girls go on to be senior hockey players in Billingham, and I hope we can provide that for them, because it'll just be fantastic to have a team right the way through, from men's, Bucks, full academy, and also on the women's side of it, because it is huge for the town and for the club as a whole.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. So obviously we'll cover it as much as we can on Billingham Stars socials, but also have a search for Billingham Junior Ice Hockey. They're on all the social channels as well, and they'll push on when the next 16s girls games are. You get yourself down there. Junior games are free. All they would ask is probably that you buy a couple of raffle tickets, or buy a couple of cupcakes, or buy something just to help the club coffers. And as I say, like Aisling, one of the Caledonia coaches, you two could go home with a hamper full of it was a proper hamper as well. It
looked lovely.
It was a fair size. So yeah, so she was delighted with her weekend's work as well. But yeah, great stuff from the girls. While we're talking juniors, it was followed by the boys 16s, and they'd be Coventry as well. So it was a fairly good weekend all around in the academy. On Sunday, we also had the first game for the Bucks. Obviously, they had a pre-season game the other week as well, but they do have league games. So there you go. Good for them. And they kind of got a monkey off the back. They beat the Sutton Sting, which is a team that had a bit of a rivalry with last year. Couldn't quite get it over the line against Sutton, but ended up a comprehensive win, and it was 8-4. No small thanks to the number 11 shirt behind you, Carol.
Yeah, Andy Finn still got it. That's for sure. It was a really good game, actually, and Bucks were good value for that win. It got a little bit feisty at times. I mean, it's a massive game to be playing first game of the season, to be fair. That's potentially one of the sort of league deciders already at this stage of the season.
I was going to say that would have been very interesting to see how both teams approach the game and go into it, knowing that them two are probably the top two teams this year.
Yeah.
Even Billingham, with all the changes, to be fair, with the changes they've made, they've probably become a better team, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, we know how good Sutton are. Those Glasby boys are a pain in more than ways than one, as we witnessed on Sunday. But what a great game. Yeah, what a great game for Division 2.
Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned Finney with a couple of goals. Chris Southwaite in net, 65 saves, I think it was the stat this morning. So obviously he had himself a game as well. And just like John says, the Bucks maybe is a stronger, deeper overall team this year. And we'll see how it takes them. They've got a game. Actually, it's just a cup game this weekend, isn't it? Playing Coventry on Sunday at the Forum again.
Yeah.
So the Buccaneers.
I think most importantly, we need to ask Carol how her intermission treat went.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you know what?
I watched you struggle with every mouthful.
So, Carol, did you have an intermission treat on Sunday?
Yeah, I had a Thor's ice cream tray, a whippy tray, and they are immense. They are so good. But realistically, for me, far too much. So because it was so good, I forced myself to eat absolutely every last mouthful of that whippy tray. Probably regretted it later, but honestly, beautiful.
Is there a possible podcast sponsorship in the offing if we mention Thor's ice cream often enough?
I think we should try because it's going to have to get added to rink food as a
it was just watching Carol eat it looked delicious as well.
Oh my God, it was amazing. But it was.
Granted, she was very full. She still wasn't sharing.
I asked you cheeky thing. I asked if you wanted a mouthful, and you said no.
Yes, I've seen them on socials with their 10 gallon challenge or whatever they do with a
10-layer challenge.
Yeah.
These are called whippy trays. So you literally get a tray full of whippy ice cream with different toppings.
Yeah.
And they're amazing, but there's a lot of ice cream on that tray.
I'll have to check the regional thing because obviously although Billingham, I'm further north. Do you have monkey's blood in Teesside?
Yes.
It's still monkey's blood because I'm not sure where the monkey's blood kind of hand stops and whatever. Yeah.
Not much further south than here, I'd have said.
I think you'll probably start to struggle past it.
Yeah,
I think even Middlesbrough they would probably struggle.
Yeah, it's a north of the Tees thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine as long as I wouldn't make a fool if I asked for monkey's blood on my ice cream. That's fine. We have massively digressed, but anyway.
Yeah.
So Thor's, if you're listening, hashtag sponsorship opportunity. Where were we? Bucks. Yeah. So Bucks are home this Sunday at the Coventry Blaze, who will be icing friend of the show, Jodie Alderson-Smith.
Yep.
Plays for the Bays NIHL as well as Solihull Women's Elite League team. So if you want a hockey fix and you're still trying to get into your season, then the Bucks are at home on Sunday. Starting to wind up, as we've got no games to talk about last week or this. Did I mention we're still undefeated? Again. Jono, you were also busy on Sunday, yourself and the Supporters Club crew. Do you want to tell us your Sunday afternoon, and then you can also then divert into your mandated sales pitch? Thanks to Fiona.
It's all written down for me again. I've got the full lot. But yeah, Sunday was a great day. It was Billingham Town Show. Unfortunately, we didn't do much advertising of it because we didn't know if we were going to make it there. But we did make it there, thanks to the help of everybody who helped us out and made it happen. But the Billingham Town Show happened on Sunday. We were able to have a supporters table, and with a kind help of others, we had a speed cage there, which was free to go for anyone who wanted to give it a go. It went down very, very well. We had the Bucks head of hockey operations set the mark for us for a shot for a speed cage. The draw is going to be made. I think I was told it was going to be made this week for the lucky person who was close enough to it to win some tickets. But yeah, it was just a great day. It was a great day to get not just tell people about Billingham Stars, but ice hockey in general in the town. Because believe it or not, people still don't realise there's ice hockey in Billingham, which blows my mind. But yeah, it was a great day. The weather was kind to us just about. We survived till about 10:04 when it started raining. But a great day. People took plenty of shots. People took plenty of fixture lists. So yeah, all in all, a great day had by all. And I think it'll only get bigger and better as the years go on because it's certainly something that will benefit everybody.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Like you say, the community angle of of the club is hugely important to everybody at the Stars and the academy as well. And it's a since obviously I've been part of it, you realise how tight Billingham is as a community. So stuff like the town show is fantastic, and it's for the club to be part of that. So a big, huge well done to everybody who worked there, and everybody who popped by to say hello to Jono and the girls. So thank you to everybody for that. You'll also seen on the Supporters Club socials, they're ramping up. They have their shirt sponsorship is still available. Your match night, if you want to be do the ceremonial puck drop, or if you represent man of the match, then Jono and his crew are the place to go. You can message them on socials, or have a look on their email, or you can see them on game nights when we finally have one. Anything else you want to promote, Jono? I know there was some new merch.
On the
website as well.
You covered a couple of things there. So we do have the match presentations, the man of the match, the own and loans. We've got our new key rings. They've come in. I don't know if you can see them because of the bad light in my room. We have brand new pens this year as well. Snazzy little posh things that we have. We have our memorial cups towards last season for last season's success, whether that was the playoffs, the Kent Taggart Memorial, the league win. So there's three more pucks there to collect to go with the Moralee Cup. They're available. Memberships are available where you get money off at Thor's Ice Creams as well. So there you go.
Was that Thor's Ice Cream you mentioned there again?
Yes, that's Thor's Ice Cream. You do get a discount for Supporters Club members, so I do highly recommend it. But
I've heard tell of this thing called a whippy tray, which is basically a tray full of whippy ice cream.
Yep. And you get discounted at the Supporters Club membership.
At the Supporters Club.
Yeah. Right. So fantastic.
I'll have to join up before I get one of me Thor's whippy trays from the van outside the forum.
But yeah, that's all available. We do have more new merch in the pipeline. We're just getting a few things finished off and completed and signed off. So there's still more stuff to come. We still have a few bits and bobs of last year left, such as the property of t-shirts. So still loads of stuff going on and loads of stuff to come. So eventually when we get a home game, please do come and say hello.
Yeah. Indeed, see the Supporters Club table. But in the meantime, they have their own Facebook page, and you can message them on there, or you can message them put the email address on. But I know they put a load of their photos on of their antics at the fair, and also the new merch as well. So keep up to date with the Supporters Club. New addition to the Supporters Club committee incoming in the next few days, we hear?
Yes, we believe everything's been signed off. We believe he could be, she could be, they could be, it could be announced very, very shortly. We believe everything's here and ready to go. We're just waiting for those final, what shall we say, T's and C's to be confirmed.
Excellent. We shall look for more on that in the very, very near future. Before I let you go, have you checked everything off your list before? Because I don't want to get wrong off Fiona.
I am just looking. I think I've got everything. I don't think I've missed anything off.
Very good.
I think I'm good this week. No slap wrist for me this week.
Excellently. Carol, do we have any other business? Was I shameless enough in the plug of Thor's Ice Cream as a marketing professional? Was it
Great.
Subtle but shameless?
No, we don't do subtle, really, do we? We need as unsubtle as possible, and that was completely unsubtle, so fabulous. No, just the fixtures haven't been particularly kind to us, and we have another weekend off, but there is plenty out there for people to consume media-wise. There's all sorts of the usual suspects on podcasts, etc. Go take in some content. Zero Pucks Given. I need to give a shout out to Ben, actually, because he did quite lengthy previews on each of the teams in South 1 for the coming season. He gave us plenty of shout outs on some of those previews about how enjoyable the Steel City Showdown was, and the Billingham Stars supporters in general. And he mentioned vodka gummy bears a few times. I'm not sure where he got those from, but please do go and check out.
Not guilty.
No. Zero Pucks Given him because there's been a lot of changes in South One, and towards the end of the season we'll probably get a lot more interested in that. But they are only an 18 league this year. Milton Keynes and Oxford City Stars are not part of that this season, so kind of a different league for the South this year. Again, it goes back to probably no blowout games for those guys, because it's going to be highly competitive now. It's down to 8 teams. But if you want to know about the wider sort of NIHL tier, then Zero Pucks Given's a good place to start for the South. There's plenty of banners on the wall content out from the last few weeks. Anthony Russell, behind the banners on the wall, has written a massive preview about the entirety of British ice hockey. It's also a very good place to go and consume some content and find out more about what's going on, not just in our league, but everywhere. All sorts of interviews and sort of post-game content from games that have happened this weekend. Please do go and check it out, because we've still got another blank weekend. Or go and watch the Bucks if you fancy it on Sunday. But there is lots to keep up with, so please do and consume somebody else's content, because there's a lot of really informative material out there if you want to go and check it out.
Yeah, no, 100%. The fan media and the official club media, but also fan media is grown immeasurably over the last few years. So, well worth giving it a listen, or a watch, or a read, whatever your preference is. Friend of the show, Anthony Russell. I'm sure it wasn't completely an accident. He used a picture of his trip to D-side and his main article cover shot. So, we still need to get him up to T-side, and we'll try and do that in between his Guildford commentary stints. But yeah, thanks for that, Carol and Jono, for the Supporters Club update. We'll kind of draw a veil over things there. As I say,
just one more thing, just to congratulate Lucas Dowdle on his Great North Run efforts.
And Mark,
I believe it was it 1 hour 50, he said, on Sunday?
1 hour 48 for Lucas. And Mark Watson, this is no word of a lie, did it in 1 hour 22 and was 387th. And I think there was 60,000 people did that run at the weekend. And he was in the top 400. That is amazing. So well done, Lucas, running for a fantastic charity. Please do check out the link. And well done, Mark, because that's just a phenomenal effort.
All right, Mark Watson, formerly of this parish, not bad for a wicket-keeping, fast-bowling netminder, whatever he does these days. He was a wicket-keeper, and then he switched to fast-bowling, I think, and now he's playing for Chesley Street in the Premier. So, keeping it. I saw that at 122 is a ridiculous time.
It is a ridiculous time.
I kept up my 100% record of never having done a North Run ever, so I'm still undefeated.
I've done 6.
It used to be it always was this weekend. It's the first weekend of the season, so I remember several times, Carol, you doing North Run and then trotting off down to either coming to the Forum or going to Whitley or going to somewhere.
I went to Blackburn once after a Great North Run. That was
Is it not the Great Weir Run now?
Yeah, that was quite funny.
It's just a picture, but yeah. I imagine heads will be rolling in some design place somewhere.
Yeah, somebody who was supposed to proof it is probably.
Yeah. All the AI ones of Alexander Isak being the one putting the medals together was quite funny as well. We are slowly getting more and more off topic. So yeah, we'll draw a veil there. Thank you to everybody for listening and for watching wherever you get your podcast content here on Starcast. We'll be back very soon with more from the Billingham Stars and from across the NIHL North Division 1. As I say, if you're coming to the Forum on Sunday for the Bucks against Coventry Blaze, we will see you there. But yeah, keep up to date as much as you can across the NIHL, and we'll do our best to keep you informed as well here on Starcast.
Thank you for watching and listening to Starcast. Follow us on social media and remember to subscribe and leave a review on your podcast platform.